Hello, everyone. My name is Rana Meher, and welcome to my podcast. Um, I will speak to you about different aspects of Bangladesh politics and some other international affairs. Planning to come every week, at least once in every week. I will try my best. If I come more than once a week, great. If I come less than once a week, I hope you will miss me. Anyway, in my first video, I will speak about Bangladesh Nationalist Party (BNP) and its desperate try to erase its footstep about anti-India statement and how they're trying to portray themselves as a kind of central kind of political party with good secular value based in 1971 and how they're trying there to erase their footstep about anti-India sentiment and other things. So let's start. So BNP, it emerged in 1978, 1st of September, by Ziaur Rahman. Now, when Ziaur Rahman formed this party, he came up with some core principle, and one of the core principle, and that was kind of eye-catchy, that was something new, and that core principle was Bangladeshi nationalism. Now, guys, if you can remember, in Bangladesh we have our four core values, four principles, and one of them is very important. Is called Bengali nationalism. Now, Bengali nationalism, it has a very in-depth value. It is very close to our heart. We fought in 1971, fought very bravely to save our Bengali identity. So, of course, when we had our independent country, the Bengali nationalism became one of our identity, became one of our core principles. Now, Ziaur Rahman, when he came up with that idea, Bangladeshi nationalism, it sounded quite new, and many people they try to portray Bangladeshi nationalism as a big umbrella where people who are non-Bengalis like Chakma, Tripura, Shautal, they can be under that Bangladeshi nationalism umbrella as well. But for next couple of years, we were sure that the Bangladeshi nationalism, it was nothing but a polished way of saying how anti-India BNP was. Because what they try to portray is Bengali nationalism is a very much India shaped, India backed kind of identity, and Bangladesh has to be independent, free from any other forces. And that's how they try to erase Bengali nationalism and try to introduce something new called Bangladeshi nationalism. So, guys, if we think about 1978, we can be sure that BNP it started with a very big anti-India statement that was core in their heart. Okay, and then Ziaur Rahman became president, and after 1975, the anti-India sentiment was quite a big thing. The anti-India sentiment became one of the key strategy of many political parties, and BNP was one of the leader to lead that anti-India sentiment. So Ziaur Rahman and other key personnel of BNP, they tried to portray that Bangladesh-India friendship and military treaty that took place in 1972 by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and then Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, that treaty as something anti Bangladesh. They tried to portray the treaty as a treaty of slavery, where they claimed that Bangladesh kind of submerged with India. And this kind of sentiment was very much alive and kicking till 1997, where that treaty was officially off. Now, the problem is Was that treaty between Bangladesh and India, was it flawless? No. There were some flaws, there were some weakness, and instead of pointing out the weakness of the treaty, BNP and Ziaur Rahman, they put all of their energy to show that treaty was a treaty of slavery, not a treaty of friendship. Then, 1991, BNP came in the power, and Khaleda Zia became the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. And the start of her venture was kind of positive. In 1992, Khaleda Zia visited India. So, people of Bangladesh and people of India as well, I'm sure, they were kind of ensured that things will get better. But of course not. India repeatedly informed Bangladeshi government, BNP government, informed them, showed their concern, saying the Indian separatist groups, they're trying to use Bangladeshi land to organize themselves and to plan anti-India movement using Bangladesh soil. Instead of taking a hardcore step against it, BNP kind of ignored Indians' plea and carried on as nothing such this was happening. So Bangladesh and India relationship was not as great as it expected. Then 1996, Awami League came in the power and Sheikh Hasina became the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Now in Sheikh Hasina's venture, there were some fantastic things took place nationally and internationally. Two of the very great one that I would say was the Gange water deal, and another one was peace treaty between Bangladesh government and Chittagong Hill Tracts, some force in Chittagong Hill Tracts. Now, BNP, Khaleda Jia, especially because she was the chairperson of BNP that time, they became very vocal against both of the treaty. They claimed the Gange, the water treaty, they claimed it again. It was a treaty of slavery. That treaty, Khaleda Jia claimed the treaty will benefit India only, not Bangladesh. But on top of it, that peace treaty between Bangladesh government and Chittagong Hill Tracts organization, they claimed it because of that treaty that Chittagong Hill Tracts is not part of Bangladesh anymore. It became the part of India, which was a pretty big claim, a pretty nasty claim in the same way. And they took the street to show their how against they are. They did street protest, and they also claim if they come to power next time, they will cancel both of the treaty. Now guess, they came to power in 2001. Did she cancel? She became Khaleda Jia became the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Did she cancel any of this treaty? No, she did not. But some other terrible things happened between Bangladesh and India, so the relationship between these two countries it hit rock bottom. How? Just like 1991, India claimed, showed their concern, saying the separatist movement of northern east of India, they are again using Bangladeshi soil to organize themselves. They are not only organizing themselves, they are using Bangladeshi soil to get them armed. So, India claimed many of the arms deal happening in Bangladesh that is in favor of this separatist organization in the northeastern part of India. And there was a big evidence on behalf of it. In 2004, there were um, 10 trucks full of arms were discovered by Bangladesh police, and all these 10 trucks were loaded with arms and ammunition. India claimed that they were there for the separatists in northeastern part of India. And later we found out the Indian claim was true. and Bangladesh government, led by the BNP and Jamaat-e-Islami, they were aware of this deal. They were aware of these 10 trucks full of arms that coming to Bangladesh that will pass on to the separatist organization in India. When Awami League came to power, the then Home Minister Lutfuzzaman Babur, he was sentenced for various years in the prison. And of course, in 1924 December, he was acquitted from this case, and now he is roaming as a free man. So, what India claimed in 2001, what India claimed in 1991, it was actually true. So, that time, not only BNP took that anti-India stance of themselves as a political strategy, they took it in a way, they took it as far as it became a national security threat for India. And that is how BNP was doing their politics then, and that is how BNP is doing their politics now. In 2009, when Awami League got a landslide victory and Sheikh Hasina became the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, it was very difficult for BNP to digest the new scenario, and all they can portray that whole election was an India-backed election. She, Khaleda Jia, she claimed, and other late personnel of BNP, they claimed all this 2009 election was a show off of Indian cash. Right? And that kind of anti-India sentiment, it went so far, it became so nasty, so kind of rude, so kind of cruel. When 2013, Pranab Mukherjee, then President of India, came to visit Bangladesh, Khaleda Jia refused to meet him as the key person of BNP that time. So that's how ugly it became when Pranab Mukherjee, who was a guest of Bangladesh that time, and the one of the most important key figure of Bangladeshi politics, refused to meet him to show how anti-India she is. Then, of course, there's some other things happen, and all this time, after since 2019 election, all this time, Khaleda Jia, Tareqzia, and other key personnel of Bangladesh National Party, they're all claiming how India is controlling Bangladeshi politics, how Awami League sold Bangladesh to India, how India is trying to control every single thing happening in Bangladesh. But is this claim true? No, not really. We saw how Bangladesh, our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina that time, she sorted out the long-standing enclave situation for Bangladesh and India, and how for the first time those people living in this enclave, they can have their own country. And also we saw how they're sorting out the water dispute with in India and Myanmar, and how Bangladesh made sure they can use Indian land as for transshipment, so Bangladeshi things can go to India and other countries in a much more realistic, much more easy way. That transshipment was cancelled, by the way, sometime last year, but Awami League made sure that Bangladesh got these things on its favor. But all this time, instead of supporting Awami League and Sheikh Hasina, or instead of making sure that Bangladesh becomes a good friend of India, they can be working together as a peaceful country, all this time Khaleda Jia and other BNP leaders, they claim how imperialistic India is and how Bangladesh is being sold to India. And that anti-India sentiment became quite dangerous, quite risky, quite violent in 2021 when Narendra Modi came to Bangladesh for a visit. So BNP and Jamaat-e-Islami, they made sure there are several protests took place and all over in Bangladesh, and at least 5 people were murdered, were killed in this clash where they wanted to protest Modi's visit in India. Not only that, in 2024, there are other political parties. Early 2024, they came up with another anti-India campaign called India Out. And that India Out campaign was trying to make sure there are no Indian things are being sold in Bangladeshi market. And they made a quite stage of it when the one of the key figure of BNP, Ruhul Kabir Rizvi, he was wearing a shawl. He took off the shawl in front of the camera, saying, "Look, I am boycotting Indian product from now on, and I am with that India Out campaign." So that's how 2024 was. And after 2024, 5th of August, when Sheikh Hasina had to go to India to ensure her safety, since then there was no opportunity left behind by BNP and Tareqzia and Tareqzia to say something against India. They blamed India for sheltering Sheikh Hasina. They blamed India of trying to control Bangladesh politics again. They blamed India for anything and everything. And now, all of a sudden, in 2025, the end of 2025, beginning of New Year, all of a sudden, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, and the new leader of BNP, Tareqzia, is portraying himself that they can be best friend of India. And we have seen Jaishankar, he's a very important person in Indian government. He came to participate in Khadija's funeral, and he also handed out a letter from Narendra Modi about about Narendra Modi, how what he said about Khalifagia. So it took I would say it took a quite strange turn, because it is not like India done nothing to upset Bangladesh. India done many things. If we forget everything, the border killing by BSF, the border killing of innocent Bangladeshi people in Indian border, there is no way anybody can support it. And there are some other issues as well. There are some other issues to resolve. I am all up for it. I'm all up for any kind of issues or any kind of disagreement to resolve that. But the anti-India politics of BNP is nothing sort of this. Their anti-India politics is one of their key strategy where they can play with ordinary people of Bangladesh mind. They can use that anti-India politics to torture minorities in Bangladesh. They are using that anti-India policy and anti-India stand to Islamize Bangladesh. That is BNP's anti-India stand. So anti-India stand of BNP is not coming from any ideal sort of reason. It is coming from a very cheap kind of politics. That cheap kind of politics helped BNP to gain some sort of support from some of the group of Bangladesh. Now, my question is, should we accept Tareqzia's new stand and forget everything, look for something better? By all means, we can. But me being me, I'm not being very helpful. I would be very cautious seeing how Tareqzia handles the anti-India statement that is so deeply rooted in BNP for all these years, and I'm going to have a very sharp eye and mind to see how India is dealing with the new trick of BNP. So let's see what happens next. I will see you next week, and hopefully, I'll be coming to speak to you about a new topic or maybe this topic. Who knows? So, stay with me, stay with my channel. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Joy Bangla.